Welcome to the podcast. Hopefully, you can hear me. I cannot tell if my microphone is working, so if you can't hear me, let me know. Or if it's too loud, let me know. I can't tell exactly how loud I am because the software on this website sucks. Sucks. It's 2021. You think we would have better tools available, but we don't. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. I have some very important things to talk about, and hopefully you'll stay. So, I know I'm not porn. I'm not a naked woman. I wish I could show you that right now because you guys would probably stay for that. But regardless, this is important. So hopefully you do stay. Um, and again, if you can't hear, please let me know. Okay? Right now, I want to talk about the transition from peacetime to wartime and the different stages societies go through, the life and death of a society, the life and death of a country, how things progress, why democracies fail over time. So there's several great things I want to talk about on this podcast. And so let's get down to it. I should have been more prepared. I'm kind of just winging it. This is just me. I am looking for a writer. So if you have any experience writing, if you uh, like to be a producer, if you like that type of work, send me a message and we'll go from there. And so I am looking for a producer or slash writer. So if anybody's interested, send me a message. Um, but the transition from peacetime to wartime. Um, Interesting stuff, right? It's interesting to watch this play out. It's scary at the same time. Um, America was founded because people were escaping tyranny from Britain. And people got tired of it. That's how the country started. That's how the country was founded. And so liberty is something that this country was founded upon. It's an idea that many countries before it have tried and failed. Um, there's been other democracies. There's been other republics before, but democracy and republic democracy has not been the norm throughout history. Um, Most countries, including today, live under tyranny. They live under some sort of oppression. There's a tiny group of individuals who control the rest of the population, either through violence, weapons, armies, different things like that. And so, inevitably, you end up happening to live under some sort of oppression, and the cycle throughout human history has been a repeat of tyranny. Now, um, whoever can gain influence, or whoever can, um, you know, um, commit the most violence, usually tends to rise to the top, right? Throughout history, that's how it's been. And so I think, we've had peace for a real long time. Um, it looks like that's coming to an end. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope that I am wrong. In many ways, I hope that I'm wrong. Um, so, I picked up a magazine earlier from Life magazine, and it's a really good magazine. I recommend you guys pick it up. Um, the Life and Times of Anne Frank. It's a really good. It's got really good pictures in it. So this really good pictures. I don't know if you guys can see that. A visual for you guys. Um, I mean, just horrible pictures of wartime, um, and how it was throughout um, World War II. The people who took power. Now, so that's interesting. I recommend you guys pick that up. But let me talk about something real specific here that was happening pre-World War II that is happening now. And that should alarm a lot of people. So, um, pre-World War II, data was being collected. There was the Stasi state in Germany, and there was the communist state in Russia. America had a little bit of that, um, but it wasn't as much as it was in Germany and Russia. Okay? So, data collection, the Stasi state turning neighbors against each other happened pre-World War II, and it led up to World War II. The Germans were collecting data on different populations when they took power. When Hitler took power, the SS, uh, the Stasi state came in and started turning people against each other, started collecting data, demanding the neighbors to collect data on their neighbors, and this led to stripping the Jewish people and others, not just the Jews, but there was other people too, stripping a large proportion of people's rights. Okay? And people wound up in prisons. The SS, Himmler, built a bunch of prison camps throughout the Nazi state. There were hundreds, if not maybe thousands, of labor camps, forced prison camps throughout the Stasi state. and also in Soviet Russia. So it wasn't just the Nazis, it was communists too. A lot of people don't realize that. So, you know, it's really popular to bash the right. These popular to bash the left these days. But both and can lead to tyranny. So the idea that the left or the communists are free from scrutinization um, is ludicrous, right? And the left has much more power nowadays than the right. The left has a total capture. I would say a total capture of every aspect of life, from education to sporting events to restaurants, pubs, every aspect of life, including church, has been infected by the left. Okay? It's a total capture of society. There's not much you can do anymore without political correctness, and you can just tell when you go outside in America, you can just tell that there's a totalitarian state, and we are the most watched, spied upon population in human history. That is what is so scary about what's going on. And the last time this happened was pre-World War II. The Nazis came in, they turned neighbor against neighbor, they collected data, and then they stripped the Jewish people and the people that disagreed with them politically of their rights. And they made rights a privilege. And that led to the extermination of millions of people. And then a global conflict. Okay? And so that is why I keep harping on this data collection and spy state that we live under now. There's nothing much that you can do anymore. There's not many people you can talk to anymore without some record somewhere of you and that person meeting, whether it's the cell phones in your pocket, um, whether you go downtown, there is some sort of record of you meeting with that person. I guarantee it, whether you know it or not. And so, if anybody ever took power that had a devious plan, that had a manipulative plan, if a cabal of people ever took power, the way the country is set up right now, if anybody ever took power that had a diabolical plan to get rid of people, they would succeed tenfold. And the reason they would succeed tenfold is the way the society is structured currently is where everything is recorded, is a lot like the way society was pre-World War II. Now you can say, well, we live in the United States. You can trust the intelligence agencies. You can trust your media. You can trust your education system. You can say all that. That's fine. But How long can you trust them? How long before the system becomes corrupted? I say it's a matter of time, because the people in power currently may not have a devious plan, but the people who take over in the future may have, and there's a very good chance that they would have devious intentions, ill will towards a population. You see that happening already. You see the government using demographics to win votes. You see the politicians using demographics to sway voters, right? So you see this happening in real time, and the evidence is there. You know, um, and so that is why I bring it up on this podcast, is because this is very important to understand what is happening here. Because if we don't teach the next generation, which I would say would, the baby boomers have failed to teach the younger generation civics, and have failed in many ways to teach and why freedom matters. And so that is why we are where we are as a society. And where this leads. I mean, we know where this leads. It's happened before. But it's really scary to watch. So anyway, I want to focus on Anne Frank and what happened before pre-World War II. See, this is the light. Pre-World War II, people who, the SS, and that led to a vast number of people being put in concentration camps. And so the turning neighbor against neighbor, that is really, that's popular in totalitarian regimes. You sow distrust, suspicion. These are tools that are really popular, and you see that with all the red flags are there currently. You have an elite group of people who have they don't know any working people. They live in a bubble. They don't care about the working people, right? They feel as though their power is being threatened. That's why you hear about this constantly, right? On the news, they're constantly pitting people against each other, demographics against each other, right? Because they have the power, and the working people who protested, the people who protested in January had legitimate grievances, and what was really scary was the response. Of the government. Their response was to label all the protesters as insurrectionists, and this was not true. It wasn't true. Um, and so, that's where we are, and that's what's being spread throughout on the media. And these people had legitimate grievances. A lot of these people have suffered. A lot of these people have loved ones who have suffered. A lot of these people have lost their jobs due to globalization, due to the policies of the people that are in power. A lot of these people have seen their careers decimated, have seen their families decimated. I mean, there's legitimate grievances here. And the response of the government, of the Democratic Party, should make everybody fear what's to come. Because the response wasn't to listen to the protesters. The response was to, well, you've seen the response. Anyway, so where does this lead? I don't know. But it's scary. So that is what I wanted to focus on. I don't want to talk too much about that because you hear about that enough on the news. But it is important to talk about it nonetheless because it's constantly in our face, and so it's important to talk about. But the first thing they do with people who they don't like, who they don't agree with, is to smear them. And what they'll do is they'll constantly smear them for months on end, and eventually it'll sound true. People will start to believe it. This was a tactic that was used throughout Nazi Germany and throughout so so how do we go back? How do we get out of this and avoid a global conflict? How do we do that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The country should have had the proper tools to deal with an emergency, and they didn't. So when the emergency came, we couldn't deal with it. And now we are where we are, right? So that's what it is. So I just wanted to bring some of that up. I will be back. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Let me know. Again, I'm looking for a writer/producer. Let me know if you are interested. Thank you.